This video is for educational purposes only and does not constitute professional medical advice. Please consult with your doctor or a qualified healthcare specialist before starting any new vitamins or supplements mentioned in this video. Use of this information is at your own risk. One misstep, a shattered hip, a life of dependency. That is the statistical reality for millions over 60. Why? Because your muscles have stopped listening to you. They are resistant to the food you eat. Stop the decay before your next step becomes your last. The solution is in your fridge. The sound of a hip fracturing isn't just a medical event. It is the precise moment your independence ends. Statistics tell us that for many over the age of 60, one fall doesn't just mean a hospital visit. It marks the transition from walking freely to being bedridden, often permanently. But here is the terrifying truth that no one tells you. That fall didn't happen because you were clumsy. It happened because your body had been silently dismantling your own legs for years. Right now, a biological program is running inside you, dissolving the very muscle fibers that keep you upright. It is a silent betrayal. Your body has decided that your leg muscles are no longer necessary for survival, so it is breaking them down to harvest energy. You are literally vanishing from the ground up. But what if I told you there is a way to override this command? What if you could flip a switch that tells your body to stop the destruction and start rebuilding, using just one simple dark fruit? Welcome to ElderFit Nutrition. It's a pleasure to have you with us today. Before we reveal exactly how to save your strength, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel. Your support is the fuel that keeps us researching and bringing you these life-saving insights. By subscribing, you are joining a community dedicated to aging with power, not frailty. Now let's go deep into what is actually happening inside your thighs and calves. The condition is called sarcopenia, but think of it as a failure of communication. As we cross the threshold of 60, the signals that tell our muscles to grow and repair begin to fade. The body shifts into a conservation mode. It begins to view muscle tissue, especially the large muscle groups in your legs, as an expensive luxury it can no longer afford to maintain. This is why you can feel your legs getting heavier, weaker, and less responsive, even if you are eating well. You might feel like you are walking through water, or that your steps have lost their spring. That is the feeling of your body slowly disconnecting from your muscles. However, the most critical breakdown isn't just about aging. It is about insulin. We often think of insulin only in the context of diabetes or blood sugar, but that is a dangerous oversimplification. Insulin is actually a powerful anabolic hormone. It is the master builder of the body. In a healthy younger body, insulin acts like a doorman. It opens the doors of your muscle cells so that the protein and amino acids you eat can enter and build tissue. But after 60, your leg muscles often develop a condition called anabolic resistance, which is essentially insulin resistance localized in the muscle. Think of it this way. You are eating protein, eggs, fish, yogurt, believing you are feeding your muscles. But because of this resistance, the doors to your muscle cells are locked tight. The insulin comes knocking, but the muscle doesn't answer. The protein you ate cannot get inside to do its job. Instead of building strength, that expensive nutrition floats past the muscle and is eventually stored as fat or excreted. You are starving your muscles while feeling full. This is the tragedy of sarcopenia. You are doing the right things, but your body's internal chemistry is blocking the results. This is where the blueberry changes the game completely. We are not talking about blueberries just as a source of vitamins. We are talking about them as a biological signaling device. Research has shown that the specific polyphenols in blueberries have the unique ability to resensitize your muscle cells to insulin. They effectively repair the lock on the door. When you consume them, you are sending a loud, clear signal to your legs. Open up and feed. Suddenly, the protein you eat is absorbed. The amino acids rush into the tissue. The dismantling process stops, and the rebuilding process begins. You aren't just eating fruit. You are rewriting the instruction manual for your own biology. Before we move on to how to use this effectively, I want you to pause and reflect on your own experience with a quick question. I want you to answer honestly in the comments below. Quiz, what do you think is the main reason your legs feel weaker as you age? A. I am simply not eating enough protein in my diet. B. My body has locked the doors and refuses to absorb the protein I eat. Type A or B in the comments right now. This distinction is vital because if you choose B, the solution isn't just more food, it's the right signal. Let's see how many of you suspect the real culprit. Even if you manage to unlock the doors to your muscle cells, there is a second, darker reality waiting inside. Imagine trying to build a house while a fire quietly smolders in the basement, weakening the foundation day by day. This is exactly what happens in your legs after the age of 60. You might not feel heat or pain, but a condition known as chronic low-grade inflammation is constantly running in the background. It is the silent enemy of longevity. Unlike the acute inflammation of a sprained ankle, which heals, this type never stops. It sends a distress signal to your brain that the body is under attack. And in response, your body makes a calculated but devastating decision. It begins to break down muscle tissue to liberate amino acids for survival. It treats your quadriceps and calves not as vital engines of movement, but as emergency fuel reserves to be burned. This is where the deep purple pigments in blueberries, known as anthocyanins, perform their most critical work. They do not just sit passively in your system, they actively hunt down these inflammatory signals. Specifically, they inhibit a biological pathway called NFKB, which is essentially the master switch for inflammation. When this switch is stuck in the on position, your muscles are in a constant state of catabolism or breakdown. By consuming blueberries, you are effectively flipping that switch off. You are telling your body that the war is over, the emergency has passed, and it is safe to stop burning the furniture to heat the house. The constant signal to destroy muscle tissue fades, allowing repair to finally take place. But inflammation is only one part of the equation. There is another reason your legs feel heavy, as if you are walking through wet cement even after a good night's sleep. Deep inside every muscle fiber are tiny power plants called mitochondria. These microscopic engines are responsible for generating the energy required for every step you take. As we age, these power plants become damaged and inefficient. They sputter and fail, unable to meet the energy demands of your daily life. Worse, they begin to leak toxic byproducts that further damage the muscle cell. This is why you feel exhausted after simple tasks. Your cellular engines are quite literally failing. Blueberries intervene here with a process called mitochondrial biogenesis. They don't just protect the old dying mitochondria, they stimulate the cell to build brand new, highly efficient ones. This refreshes the energy grid of your legs, replacing that heavy leaden feeling with renewed endurance. Finally, we must address the supply lines. Your muscles can only function if they receive a steady stream of oxygen and nutrients delivered by a vast network of microscopic blood vessels called capillaries. In sarcopenia, these tiny vessels often wither and die off, leaving muscle fibers isolated and suffocating. It does not matter how much protein you eat if the road to the muscle is broken. The bioactive compounds in blueberries help maintain and even restore this capillary density. They keep the blood vessels flexible and open, ensuring that life-giving oxygen penetrates deep into the muscle tissue. By fighting inflammation, renewing energy production, and reopening the supply lines, blueberries create a biological shield. They transform your internal environment from one of decay into one of resilience, giving your legs the fighting chance they deserve. Now that we understand the biological war happening inside your legs, the question becomes, how do we deploy this weapon effectively? Many people assume that to see results, they must consume impossible amounts of fruit or spend a fortune on fresh exotic produce. This is a dangerous misconception that often prevents people from starting at all. The truth is far more manageable. You do not need to eat a mountain of berries. You simply need to send a consistent signal. Research suggests that a mere half to 1 cup per day is the therapeutic dose required to shift your body's chemistry. It is not about the intensity of the dose. It is about the frequency of the message. Your body listens to repeated instructions, and a daily serving acts as a relentless reminder to preserve muscle tissue rather than sacrifice it. Here is where the strategy becomes even more accessible. You might instinctively reach for the fresh punnets in the produce aisle, believing that fresh is always superior. However, for the specific purpose of fighting sarcopenia, the freezer aisle often holds the greater treasure. Blueberries are typically frozen at the absolute peak of their ripeness, effectively locking in the anthocyanins, the very compounds that fight muscle decay, at their highest concentration. Fresh berries can lose these delicate nutrients during long transport and storage times. By choosing frozen, you are not compromising. You are often securing a more potent dose of medicine for your muscles, usually at a fraction of the cost. But the real secret lies in the timing. To truly rescue your legs from atrophy, you must treat your nutrition as a synchronized event. The most powerful moment to consume this fruit is alongside a source of high-quality protein, such as Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, or eggs. Think of protein as the raw building blocks, the bricks and mortar. As we established, aging muscles struggle to accept these materials. By pairing the fruit with the protein, you are essentially opening the construction site gates just as the delivery truck arrives. Furthermore, eating them immediately after a walk or light resistance exercise amplifies this effect. Your blood is already pumping, and the berries help dilate those capillaries, ensuring that the recovery nutrients are rushed specifically to the leg muscles that are crying out for repair. Finally, let us dismantle the fear that keeps so many seniors away from fruit: the sugar content. Do not confuse the natural sugars in a blueberry with the refined poison in a pastry. The sugar in this fruit comes wrapped in a complex matrix of fiber and polyphenols that fundamentally alters how your body processes it. Instead of spiking your blood sugar, which damages blood vessels and nerves, blueberries actually help flatten the glucose curve. They provide steady, slow-release energy that supports muscle function without triggering the insulin chaos that leads to fat storage. It is safe, it is strategic, and for your legs, it is essential. But the story of your legs does not begin and end in the muscle fibers themselves. To truly understand why you are losing strength and risking that catastrophic fall, we must look at the hidden command centers that control every movement you make: your gut and your brain. There is a profound connection known as the gut-muscle axis, a biological highway where the bacteria in your digestive system dictate the fate of your quadriceps. When your gut microbiome is imbalanced, it releases toxic compounds that trigger systemic inflammation, quietly instructing your body to dismantle muscle tissue. This is where the blueberry acts not just as a fruit, but as a powerful prebiotic. The fiber and polyphenols travel undigested to your lower colon, where they feed the beneficial bacteria that are essential for human health. In return, these bacteria produce soothing fatty acids that travel through your bloodstream to calm your immune system. By healing your gut, you are quite literally sending a peace treaty to your muscles, stopping the chemical warfare that causes them to wither. Yet, even strong muscles are useless if the wiring that controls them is frayed. The most dangerous aspect of aging is not just weakness, it is the delay in reaction time. That split-second moment when you trip on a rug. Does your leg shoot out to catch you, or does the signal arrive too late? This depends entirely on the health of your motor neurons. Blueberries are among the few foods known to cross the blood-brain barrier and protect these delicate neurological connections. They shield the nerves that fire signals to your legs, ensuring that the message from your brain to your feet is instant and clear. This preservation of the neuromuscular junction is what keeps you upright when you lose your balance. It transforms a potential hip fracture into a mere stumble. Furthermore, this small fruit supports the body's 5 essential defense systems simultaneously. Beyond inflammation and immunity, it triggers your body's regenerative capabilities by mobilizing stem cells. These are your body's internal repair crews, waiting for a signal to patch up damaged tissue. When you eat this fruit, you are activating the angiogenesis system, maintaining the healthy blood vessels that feed your limbs, and protecting your DNA from the daily wear and tear of life. It is a holistic defense strategy, ensuring that your legs are not just surviving the aging process, but actively resisting it. Finally, we must alter how we view the very concept of aging legs. Think of your muscle mass not merely as tissue, but as a biological savings account that you have spent a lifetime building. After the age of 60, the rules of banking change against your will. The withdrawals, caused by inflammation, inactivity, and hormonal shifts, become automatic and aggressive, while the deposits from exercise and food become harder to make. Sarcopenia is simply the result of compound interest working against you. It is a slow, steady drift into biological bankruptcy where your debts exceed your assets. This is where the blueberry serves its most profound purpose. It does not magically fill the account overnight, but it stops the excessive bleeding. It acts as a shield against those daily withdrawals, stabilizing your reserves so that even small investments in movement begin to accumulate value again. We must be realistic about this journey. No fruit can replace the fundamental need to stand up, walk, and challenge your body. However, consider this humble berry as a force multiplier for every effort you make. Without it, you might struggle to walk up a hill, fighting against a body that is chemically programmed to resist growth. With it, that same walk sends a clearer, louder signal to your muscles to adapt and strengthen. It ensures that the hard work you do actually pays off, rather than being lost to internal resistance. It transforms exercise from a punishing chore into a productive investment. Perhaps the most encouraging truth is that the human body remains responsive until the very end. Whether you are 70, 80, or even 90, your cells have not forgotten how to rebuild. They are simply waiting for the correct chemical instructions. It is never too late to send a new signal. The body is remarkably forgiving, and it craves the opportunity to repair itself. By incorporating this simple, consistent habit into your daily life, you are doing more than just feeding a craving. You are making a declaration that you intend to keep moving, to keep standing, and to protect your independence with every bite. The path away from frailty does not require a miracle. It only requires the right tools and the consistency to use them. Ultimately, the fight against sarcopenia is not just about preserving muscle tissue. It is about preserving your dignity. The true value of strong legs is not found in how much weight you can lift at the gym, but in the simple, profound ability to stand up from a chair without assistance, to walk to the grocery store on your own terms, and to play with your grandchildren without the fear of falling. We often view aging as an inevitable slide into frailty, a time when our bodies simply stop working. But science is showing us that this narrative is incomplete. Your body does not want to give up. It is fighting for you every single second of every day. It is constantly seeking the resources to repair damage, to rebuild strength, and to keep you moving. The only question remaining is whether you are providing it with the raw materials it needs to win that fight. By adding a simple cup of blueberries to your daily routine, you are not just eating a fruit, you are sending a letter of support to your own biology. You are telling your cells that you are still in the game. You are overriding the signals of decay with powerful instructions for renewal. It is a small, quiet act of rebellion against the aging process. It does not require grueling workouts or expensive pharmaceuticals. It requires only the consistency to show up for yourself, day after day. Remember that the body is a forgiving vessel. It does not hold grudges against the years you may have neglected it. It responds to the care you give it today. Whether you are 60, 70, or beyond, the capacity for improvement remains written in your DNA. You have the power to change the trajectory of your health, starting with your very next meal. Do not let the fear of what you have lost paralyze you. Instead, focus entirely on what you can still build. Your independence is a precious gift, and it is worth defending with every bite you take. The lesson: your body is not a machine that wears out. It is a biological system that responds to information. Food is not just fuel, it is code. Every time you eat, you are programming your body to either break down or build up. How to apply it: shift your mindset from dieting to signaling. When you look at your plate, ask yourself, what instructions am I sending my legs right now? If you are eating processed sugar, the instruction is inflate and store fat. If you are eating blueberries and protein, the instruction is repair and build muscle. Make this mental shift, and healthy choices become logical decisions rather than willpower struggles. We would love to hear from you and learn from your experience. Please leave a comment below. What is your favorite way to include blueberries in your diet? Do you prefer them fresh, frozen in a smoothie, or perhaps mixed with yogurt? Share your preference in the comments. Your answer might give someone else a great idea to get started. If you found value in this video and want to join us in mastering the art of aging with strength, please subscribe to ElderFit Nutrition right now. Your subscription tells us that this content matters to you and motivates our team to keep uncovering the science of a healthier, longer life. Thank you for watching, and here is to your strength.